Hey everyone, welcome back to Verified Gains. Hope everyone had a good week and a good weekend. Let's dive right into the markets because there's a lot going on right now. So, last Tuesday, where I left off, that was right around the time of the Fed Chair press conference. And the overall news for cryptocurrency investor, if you're long, if you're a bull investor, overall the sentiment was positive, right? Because the Fed chair announced a federal interest rate cut of 25 basis points. And, later there's some other news saying that they're marking down two more rate cuts, later this year in 2025. So perhaps another 25 basis points in October and maybe another one in December. So that is something that is something to look forward to, which is very great news for the Bitcoin community because lower interest rate means more liquidity. More liquidity means that people are going to use that to invest into risky assets such as cryptocurrency. Although Bitcoin is largely compared to it being a digital gold, if you will, it is still considered a speculative asset by the majority. It is still considered a risky asset. So right now, people are really looking out for those interest rate cut. Um, and when they see that, they take that as a bullish sentiment. So then why are we dipping? Right? That's the $1 million question. Quite literally the $1 million question. And look, we got a soft rejection, okay, around $117. And this was our previous resistance line and still holds to be that way. But a shakeout after an interest rate cut is actually quite common. So if you guys don't believe me, look back at the past data. There's always a shakeout. Not always, but most of the time. And whenever there is a shakeout, that is simply retail traders and investors getting shaken out. But the institutional investors, they're loading up. Okay. So to them, this is the perfect opportunity to buy in. Now, so how much are we going to retrace? Right now, according to my chart, we do have a local resistance at $110,000. I do want to pay attention to this one, red candle over here, where it is a relatively longer wick to the downside, right? And there's a possibility that the market is going to fill this shadow, which is extending to $109,000. It's very concerning, but it's a possibility. Now let's take a look at the liquidation heat map. Sorry, it's a little out of frame over here. But what we're seeing over here is a lot of, liquidity sell pressure to $111,000. So yeah, I'm sorry about this formatting here, but you guys are welcome to look at this liquidation heat map on coinglass.com yourself. And right now, the sell pressure is at $111,000. So if it's 111, yeah, I mean, one may argue, that's a possibility. So we'll see. Okay. However, let's not forget the big picture. The big picture is that the interest rates are lower and they're going to be even lower later this year. So eventually, I predict that the Bitcoin price is going to go up from here. And this is simply a shakeout. And therefore, in terms of Bitcoin buying opportunity, a great place would be to look out for this support. Okay, we do want to see some bounce back up, and that's going to be a great time to buy in. Of course, that is not financial advice. Now, if you want to be extra careful, you would wait until we break above $117,000 and consolidate above it. Okay. So, despite being a Bitcoin investor, if you are risk averse, then really the most sensible thing to do is to wait until we're back above here. Otherwise, you might end up catching a falling knife. Now let's take a look at Ethereum. Okay, so Ethereum, same thing, right? It looks like we're probably going to consolidate above it. But if Bitcoin goes all the way to $110,000, $109,000, we might actually dip below. It's a possibility, right? Because it's still considered an altcoin. Well, it is an altcoin. And so when they do sell, okay, the magnitude is going to be greater than Bitcoin. So let's take a look at Solana. Same thing, right? So we're seeing a soft rejection at $246, $247 and run our way back to 205. However, when you zoom out, overall is way better than where we were before, which is around 180. So we're past that point, okay? Let's just draw a rough sketch, okay? So you can see that we're back to retesting this trend line over here, which, previously I got rid of. I said, okay, well, we're gonna run away from it around the time of the Fed press conference. Now, I was a little bit disappointed because I thought we are going to go all the way to $267, but didn't. Okay, and then we retraced or getting shook out before that. So right now, we're back to 221, and it looks like we're probably going to try and consolidate around this area over here. So the earliest we escape this pattern is going to be tomorrow. Today we might close closer to 218, 219, and then tomorrow hopefully we see a similar pattern such as over here where we form green candles to run away from the trend line. So for now, I'll just keep this trend line, okay, because serving as a great reference. I mean, meme coins absolutely getting demolished, right? So if Bitcoin is being affected, then of course the altcoins like the major L ones, the layer ones are going to be affected. And if they're being affected, the meme coins that's based on those network are absolutely going to be affected. And that's what we're seeing over here. So for me, they're great buying opportunities. For those of you who literally, bought in Popcat over here or here, and you guys are having a rough time. Okay, we're talking about a negative, 50 plus percent. So that's 64. That's 53. So rough times for meme coins. Same with troll, right? Absolutely, absolutely getting demolished. Sort of a tough time. Okay. However, in terms of the retracement, now, I mean, we don't owe the market anything, meaning there really is no support line per se, because, this is a relatively new coin and it was for a while in price discovery mode. Right now, we're seeing huge, significant retracement, and there is no support line to draw. Okay. So right now, we don't know how low Troll is going to go. Right now, I'm pausing my additional investment into Troll. I do want to see it bounce back above 13, at least 13 cents, consolidate, and break above 18 cents, consolidate. Okay. Until then, I'm not buying anymore because way too risky. Okay. It's way too risky. Right now, we need the general markets to bounce back up before even considering the bounce back of meme coins. Anyway, so long story short, I just want to reiterate the fact that, look, the Fed chair lowered interest rate. We're going to see more liquidity come into the market. I think overall is very bullish for Bitcoin. Please watch my previous video in terms of whether we're at the cycle top or not. A long story short, I don't believe so. Okay. I think this shakeout is a pretty common occurrence after interest rate cuts. If you're selling now, it's your money. You can do whatever you want with it. I'm certainly not selling. I think we're going to see new all-time highs soon. All right, thanks for watching, guys. And please subscribe if you're into Bitcoin, Solana, Popcat, or Trollcoin. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.